Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back. I'm Kelly, Her Royal Highness of Histamines Keen.
And I am Dawn, last living Scotswoman, Glenn.
um, Histamines, hence, I really am Her Royal Highness of Histamines right now, hence the sunglasses. I apologize for not being able to show off my eyes today. So we are back for season 3.
We are.
Um, I don't know if did we talk about on the trailer? Had they announced at that point that season 4
Yes.
was the last season?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
gotcha. All right, so we
So
already
yeah.
talked about that.
Yes. Yes.
Now there are some events coming up soon that Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride are going to be making appearances at,
Yes.
and
There.
we believe that they might maybe announce that there may be an announcement of some kind
Yeah.
of continuation of their story.
Yeah. They're appearing. First of all, they're appearing at New York Comic Con, and then they're appearing at something called, I think it's MIPCOM in France, and it is a TV sort of marketplace. And that one is particularly interesting because both bigwigs at AMC are also appearing with them, and they're the only two people appearing. So that's an intriguing kind of thing. And the NYCC, the New York Comic Con one as well, they also sort of, it said in the little blurb talking about the future. So who
Yeah.
knows? It may not be. It may just be, telling this show in its last season. But maybe fingers crossed. Something.
Yeah, yeah, it would be nice, especially after this episode, it would be nice to see them get home
Yes, yes,
because
it would.
I felt so bad for them. They were so
Yeah,
excited and
yes.
oh man.
This is
Poor
not me.
Julian just got thrown in the mix and oh man,
Yeah,
poor
we did,
guy.
we did, we did appreciate in the trailer how they made it look like Julian lived past one episode. Well done, well
Yeah,
done for trying.
exactly. It's the Daryl Dixon, it's the Daryl Dixon death curse.
Yeah, exactly.
Grimes
Just
has it
don't go near
too.
them. Yep, don't go anywhere near them. You'll be dead within the week.
Yes, exactly. It's yeah, it's not the Carol death curse, it's not the Michonne death curse.
Nope,
Like,
nope,
they
it's
met
not.
new people who lived until they met Rick and Daryl.
Exactly. Yep.
Ash did leave though, so he
Yes,
got out
yes.
before.
Ash and Laurent went, nope, we're going.
Yeah.
Laurent, survived all that time with Daryl, so well done, Laurent. He beat the curse because
Yes.
nobody else did.
Right. I just it still makes me crack up so much. But like, I mean, it was terrible because he was such a great character, and I think he could have had long-term potential if they were continuing the Walking Dead universe in
Mhm.
some way that could use him. But like, there was something so funny about the fact that Nat was just such a badass
Oh,
character, and he was doing just fine with Michonne. And literally, the second Rick shows up,
he's dead. Yeah, that was the most heartbreaking. That definitely
yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah, for
really
sure.
wanted him to survive. Poor Nat.
um, by the way, I figured I would explain to everybody in case you're wondering what my shirt is. It says La Pasión, and it's a bootleg style T-shirt featuring Angel Batista from Dexter. Um, if if you're not a Dexter fan, that's the explanation. If you are a Dexter fan, we're going to be making these shirts available for purchase. It's one of our first new merch purchases, one of our first new pieces of merch that we're making available. Um, so stay tuned for that. We'll have some for all the shows that we cover. Hopefully, it's a lot of
Yes,
work.
yeah.
But the other big thing that I have to announce is that if you are watching this on YouTube, great. Um, if you're not, we do have a YouTube channel called Cyborg Queen Media, and it's the same episode. It's just got like you can just look at us talking.
Yeah.
But we do have a new podcast. We basically consolidated everything, and Walking Dead coverage is now going to be on the Cyborg Queen podcast going forward. So I'm trying to hook it up so there's a redirect from the Daryl Dixon podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to like I'm gonna put the first few episodes
Mm-hmm.
up there as well so we don't lose anybody. But if you
Yeah.
could just try to find us at Cyborg Queen podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and that'll ensure that you don't lose track of us.
I mean, it's a better title than Daryl Dixon, let's be honest.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, so basically everything that we cover goes on the Cyborg Queen podcast, other than Yellow Jackets and Dexter, which are on the Antler Queens, since they're both on Showtime. But we, we're happy to be back. I mean, regardless of how the season goes, I always like talking about it with John.
Yes, and I always like talking about it with you. I was like, yes, I can't wait to. Because there's some people, that you talk about Walking Dead with, and you have to be on the same wavelength, and we are very much on the same wavelength, because otherwise this might turn into a fight.
Yeah, it might. So the episode 1 is called Costa da Morte.
Morty,
Costa
yeah.
the Dead.
Do you want to explain how the format has changed this year?
Yes. So we've kind of changed the format because it makes everything a lot easier with we've added a lot of shows that we're covering, so the workload has increased greatly. So when we're also trying to take into account the fact that YouTubers, and this includes myself too, don't necessarily have the greatest attention span. So like a 3-hour video could pop up on my YouTube if it's automatically playing, and I'll leave it on. But I'm probably not gonna click on a really long video, and I've become really aware of that. So basically, we're just gonna do a super short recap at the top of the episode, and then go on to list our MVPs and LVPs and our top and bottom fives. And we will mark the chapters for you as well, so you can easily navigate around the video. But it kind of ensures that we don't have a 2 hour long episode every week. And even though some people like that, I know, but it's our throats get tired after a while, and
Yeah. I'm not great at sitting up straight for 2 hours. I'll start slowly slumping down. So
yeah, same. But we start, like I said, we start with every recap. Or we start every episode with a short recap. So Dawn, why don't you? We do not have a synopsis, by the way. I could not find one online for this first episode.
Weird. And this synopsis is longer than it would be for other shows, because we know that a lot of people that tune into us aren't actually watching the episodes and rely on us for a recap. So
yeah, that's fine.
So Costa da Morte opens up, and Daryl with there is a quote on the screen which says, "I have my dead and I have let them go." It's from a poet, I think, called Rilke. No idea. Anyway, Carol and Daryl are walking through England after they've come out of the Channel Tunnel. They At one point they stop and discuss Daryl's running and fighting thing, which is the catchphrase for the season. Carol is carrying a can of hot dogs that they're contemplating eating. They arrive in a deserted London, wondering where there's why is there no people, why is there no walkers. They end up in a street, and their presence wakes up all the walkers who have just been slumbering, and they rush to break into an apartment building, which is a very, very fancy one. This must be in like Park Lane or something in London. And they get themselves into an apartment upstairs, and there's a walker hanging from the ceiling as if the person had hung themselves. The balcony, it has a beautiful balcony, and they look down. Yeah, really stunning. and they look down and see their street is completely full of walkers and they're trapped. 2 days later, they are still trapped and they're running out of food. So they make a decision that they're going to make a break for it. The next morning, they will break out at dawn. So Carol's going to crack open their hot dogs for their potential last night. But just as she's about to do that, there's a light beam hits the wall, and Daryl flashes mirror back. There's somebody out there. So in the middle of the night, they're woken by this noise, and they go out onto the balcony to discover Julian, who has brought food for them and announces that he is the last living Englishman in the whole of England. No, everybody else is dead, and he talks about what happened, how they tried to sealed up the country to keep people safe and keep everybody out, but then of course nobody could escape. He mentions that he has a boat, which piques Daryl and Carol's interest, and as the evening goes on, and they convince him that they are sailors and he should come to America and get friends and have a life. So the next morning he meets up with them and figures out very quickly they're not actually sailors, but he doesn't have much choice. Daryl rallies him, and they sail down to the Thames and into the Atlantic. Despite his inexperience, Julian calculates they are on course and will reach home in under 17 days. At night on the boat, Carol and Daryl talk about Laurent getting home, and Carol tells Daryl she'd obviously previously told him what she saw in the tunnel with the bat guano, but she talks about how she's at peace and excited for the future. Daryl's happy for her, but obviously he doesn't have the same feelings. The next day, Julian talks to Daryl about his own life and that he had worked to save up before he got married, or before he found someone to share his life with, but then the world turned and there was nobody to find to share it with, and we're obviously meant to see Daryl empathizing with that. Just then, Julian spots a storm on the horizon, and as they fight it, Julian is hit with a boom in his head. Daryl and Carol put him below deck, and they fight the storm themselves. Carol tries to open up to Daryl about what if they don't live, but Daryl's not hearing any of it, and we get to hear Carol's first fuck.
Yes. I included the caption there.
Yes, you did. Yes, perfect. As Carol says, yeah, that's right. We're going home with our fucking hot dogs. Love that. Daytime, they washed up on the shore. The boat is wrecked. Daryl wakes up and Carol is nearby. She's injured, knocked in the head, but fine. Daryl goes back to the boat to look for Julian, while Carol stands up shakily, sees a figure in the rocks, and thinks it's Julian. It is Julian, but Julian's a walker. He attacks Carol and nearly bites her, but at the last moment, Daryl launches himself and takes Julian down. As night falls, Daryl has set up a shelter for them between the rocks, and he tries to warm Carol up with some whiskey and a blanket, but when he puts it around his shoulders, she winces and he realizes she's injured. Much to her protestation, he has a look at her shoulder and discovers there's a piece of metal embedded in it, and he's going to have to operate. It's a really long scene, this one, but essentially he gets it out. Much as Carol is in absolute agony.
It was painful to watch. It looked pretty nasty.
Yeah, we saw so many close-up shots of it, and I'm like, oh, we don't. Do we need to see this much?
Yeah.
And Carol has a fever because an infection has set in. As Daryl is washing his knife and things in the water, he hears a sound and he looks around and sees these masked riders coming through the woods with the animal skulls as masks, carrying torches. He covers Carol up and tries to hide, but delirious Carol makes noise, so he has to cover her mouth. Thankfully, they're not seen, but this group of people raid their boat. So the next morning, they realize they're going to have to travel inland and find out where they are and get food. They find a sign which tells them they're in Spain. much to their sadness that they hadn't got really far. Daryl finds a shack where they can camp for the night, and once again, he tends her wound to clean it up. Carol is feverish, so to stay awake, they talk, and he talks to her about what he saw in the tunnel, that Isabel appeared just when he'd lost hope, and he found a fight he didn't know he had. And Carol says, "Me too," and Dar suggests they do that. Let's keep not giving up. In the morning, whilst catching a rabbit, Daryl sees a group full of dangerous-looking men pass by in a jeep, and hurrying back to the shack, he finds Carol gone, and he stands at the ravine calling her name, Carol, but not Carl.
Yeah, exactly. I just had to comment that I loved Carol's reaction to when they saw the sign. She's like, "That's
Yes,
not how you spell Mexico."
that's my favorite. It's one of my favorite lines. And it's her tone when she says it. That's not how you spell Mexico. Oh,
Yeah,
it really is full of a lot of funny lines. This
yeah,
episode, there's a lot of really good clips in it.
yeah. There are like Daryl telling when she says that there's 3 of him, and Daryl's like, "Your worst nightmare."
Your worst nightmare. Not for most people. I don't think that would for most female fans. That wouldn't be their worst nightmare.
Yeah, that would be my worst nightmare would be stuck at a convention with 3 Norman Reeduses. That would be my worst nightmare.
Hey, the lines would be a lot shorter if there was
Yeah,
three of
that's
them.
true. That's very true. But let's start off with our MVP and LVP. Our LVP was the Suspenders award,
Yes.
and the MVP was the Angel Wings.
Yeah.
So who's getting your Suspenders award this week?
My LVP is, and it may be controversial, but Julian. Oh, Julian, you are, bless your heart, but you became a walker and nearly killed Carol. So anybody that nearly kills Carol is in my bad books. Uh, and there are 3 characters in this episode. I'm not going to give it. It's not going to be Carol. So it's moved to Dal and Julian. So
Hey,
it's
I
got to
did
be
give
Julian.
Carol the LVP last season once.
That's true. You
At
did.
least
Yeah.
once. I gave it to her for like her poor communication skills in French.
That's right. Shakir. Uh, yeah, I think Julian. There was an opportunity for some opening up from Julian, and he didn't. And he was also really, really blind to Daryl and Carol's shenanigans
Yeah.
when they're all drinking. I'm like, come on, Julian, you got to be smarter than that when you're around this pair throwing their whiskey like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Julian. I do feel sorry for him, but he's it's a way in a way it is how I feel about the Suspenders. They kind of make me go, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
For
don't
sure.
hate them. It's just yeah.
I hear ya. You know what? It's funny because I was gonna give my Suspenders award to somebody else.
Mm.
Um, but then I remembered but then I brought up the time that I gave Carol the Suspenders award, and it reminded me of something else that happened in this episode. So I'm gonna give Carol my Suspenders award.
Whoa!
She
That's fair enough.
how many months did she spend on a boat and she doesn't know what the
Yes,
stern side is?
yes. Come on. She's forgotten all those months she spent in between series 9 and 10 when she worked on a boat. Come
Yeah,
on, woman.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even if she didn't do shit on the boat and just sat there, like she
Yeah,
would know. She would have
yeah,
that memorized. That would be like stuck in her brain forever, you
yeah,
would think.
yes.
But yeah,
When she says, wasn't it, she said, "Oh, it's been some time," and I'm like, "Come on, Carol, you've done loads of sailing."
yeah, yeah.
That's
Um,
fair.
yeah. I can't really give it to her for any real reason, but
No,
I'll just I mean, there really wasn't. a true LVP.
No,
Well,
no, there
the
wasn't.
guys at the end were
Yeah,
like,
that's
but
true. Should could have given it to them for looting the stuff from the boat.
yeah, but yeah, they're too obvious.
Yeah, yes.
So who gets your angel wings?
My angel wings, controversially for me, go to Daryl. Yay! Because he took such good care of Carol. This was, after season 2, and I'm treating her like something on his shoe. It was delightful to see. I think I counted 6 times he asked Carol if she was okay in this episode. So
Yeah.
I am totally here for that. The my favorite bit is after he performed the surgery first time, and he petted her like a dog. And he's like,
Yes.
good job, good job. I was like, oh, bless you, Daryl. And it was really, it was very, very sweet. He was really attentive to Carol and making sure she was okay. So, and also, another reason is when they were hoodwinking Julian, the way that he just went along, whatever Carol says, I'll just, I'll back her up.
Yeah.
She's got a plan. I'll just roll with it.
Yeah,
Good
I hear
guy.
ya. It was kind of cute how they just like they both looked at each other
Yeah,
and tossed their scotch behind the
that
couch.
really was my favorite. I think that's going to be gift quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, and then Daryl being like, Daryl should have been going along with Carol because he was like he just blurts out with the overly
Yeah,
obvious. Where do you keep your boat?
yeah. Daryl has not a subtle bone in his body.
Yes.
Carol's like, hey, I'm laying the groundwork here. Cool it.
Yeah. um, I am gonna give my angel wings to I'm actually gonna give my angel wings to I was gonna give them to Daryl as well, but
Mm,
since you already did that, I'm actually gonna give them to Julian.
yeah,
Um, because it's just like he learned how to operate the Big Ben clock, the Big Ben bell.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's
true.
sure. Um, it's too bad he couldn't operate the Big Ben Bridge, or all the Yellow Jackets would be in better shape. um, but yeah, he learned to operate the Big Ben bell,
Yeah,
and like figured out that I don't know if he figured out that they were there by noticing the walkers like suddenly stirred up.
yeah. He said something about the squid was jangling, so I
Oh, that's
wondered
right.
if he tied them up so that if anything, if it was cut down, then he knew something's happened. So
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, and he brought them dinner.
yeah,
So
he
that
did
was that was
2
nice.
rabbits. Yeah,
Yeah, he got them out of there. So it's even though he didn't last long,
yeah,
he at least kept them alive a little bit longer.
yeah.
So let's go on to our lows.
Okay.
Now these are not necessarily our highs and our lows are not necessarily supposed to be serious. As I was explaining to Dawn, like one of my, a couple weeks ago while we were covering Dexter, um, with my other co-host Jazz, I like one of my, I think my top 5 was some just really horrific, brutal scene, but it was so masterfully done, and I think my MVP that week was like the big bad. So just for causing all the chaos. So it's not necessarily supposed to be, what we think was the best acted scene, or the best
Yeah.
written, or it's not supposed to be that serious. It's just
No.
whatever we feel like talking about, pretty much.
Yes.
It could be something that we think is gonna go really overlooked, but we thought was really funny or something, so we'll put it in there. But
Yeah.
with that said, what's your number 5 low?
My number 5 is that scene you showed. We talked about when Daryl and Carol nearly died on the boat, and Carol is trying to bring up something, trying to say something meaningful, and Daryl shuts her down. I am so sick of Daryl shutting down conversation of an emotional kind. Like we saw last year when Carol was leaving in the plane and he just went, I know. Like, you don't have to say anything. They do have to say anything. It's a TV show. Say words.
Yes.
Like, oh, I could have, they could have said anything. I am a shipper and I see everything through shippy goggles. But even as a platonic shipper, I want to see them say, hey, life would be awful without you. My life would suck without you. Or, what times we've had and I've changed because of you. They don't have to say, I love you or whatever. Just something meaningful. Just let them say something meaningful. So I'm really annoyed that Daryl shut Carol down like 3 times.
I hear ya.
Yes, we got her swearing, but I still would have liked something else and swearing.
Yeah, I agree.
Good.
My number 5 was the gross walker net. The gross
Oh,
drippy walker net.
that dripped on Daryl. Yeah, that was.
That made me gag a little.
Yeah, there's like so much, brutal, gross stuff, but just the thought of that just dripping on your. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, dead bodies dripping on you is not ever a good thing.
No, no.
Rotting dead bodies dripping on you.
Yes.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is. I'll save that one to number 1. My number 4 is that Julian died because you know what? I thought he was really good. Steve Merchant is a brilliant actor, so funny, such a talented writer. As I've said before in this podcast, check out his show, The Outlaws, if you can. He wrote very funny, just brilliant. And I'm like, he could have been a really interesting character, a bit Eugene-esque in that he's a bit incapable and a bit nerdy and whatever. But there was something about him that I really liked. Something a bit sort of, he was so cheerful and hopeful. He's existed on his own for years, and he's not gone insane. He's not developed problems like Princess did. He's just like jolly holly hockey sticks. Let's go on. Keep calm and bugger on, as he said. And I think having him in a longer dynamic with Daryl and Carol could have been really funny and interesting and moving. Like if we did see him find love in Spain, that would have been so sweet. And I'm gonna have to write a fan fiction about that. And they probably couldn't afford Steve Merchant for an entire season, but
Yeah.
I wish Julian had lived longer.
Yeah, me too. It's it's a bummer. We just we saw something similar on Daryl Dixon because like I think a couple of the big actors that they brought on for this season were just so they could like. Well, actually, no, it wasn't just. I think a lot of it had to do with marketing. Because
I think
he literally died within like 1 or 2 episodes. Like Neil Patrick Harris died same episode he showed up on. Kristen Ritter died after like 2 episodes. I mean, they had to like Uma Thurman and Peter Dinklage were around for the whole season, so they had to afford them. So they
yes.
They had to cut people loose early. But yeah, I wish they kept Julian around a little longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, my he was really funny. I love quirky characters like that.
Yeah.
My number 4 is actually the same thing. I have the same thing. It hurt to go back and watch it again after he dies because you see how proud he is that he like didn't get them lost and he's so excited. And and then that's just so sad.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Like you said about, he's ingenious about getting Big Ben working and all that. I realized they probably couldn't have made a season of this, but the 3 of them in London for some longer period of time, would have been really fun and interesting. But we always have to have human big bads. We can't just have survival be the big bad. But that's another thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. What is your number 3?
Very similar to number 5. My number 3 is the lack of now. I was just saying last night, there is lots of touching in this episode from Daryl to Carol, but there is an unbelievableness in the lack of some touching. For instance, when after he'd tried to cover her up, she's like, "Oh, I'm too hot." That was funny. When they were lying, between the rocks, and after the second time he tends to her shoulder, it would have been believable for them to just be cuddling together with spinning up. Just he's looking after her. She's really sick. He's touching her, but I just would have liked some cuddling.
Yeah.
Again, platonic cuddling. I'm not talking about romantic, but just I loved that dynamic of him taking care of her, and I just wanted it to go that little step further and to see them, you know, cuddled in. I think that would have been lovely.
Yeah.
I would just want a spinning scene, okay?
I would have loved a scene where Carol falls asleep on his shoulder and wakes up drooling on him.
Yes, yes. That
I
yeah, that would be very good. I think that happened in the X Files, and I would enjoy that in The Walking Dead. Yeah.
um so yeah, my number 3 is, I don't know if you noticed this too,
Mm.
but the the storm just looked off to me. There was something about it, like, not, I mean, just like the water
Yeah,
surrounding the boat. Did you notice this too?
yeah. It's
Okay.
because it was entirely CGI.
But it's like,
Yeah,
but you could tell, and
yeah, you could
it was
tell.
so distracting, you know?
Hmm.
I hate that. Like, they're we've seen them, like, we've seen them use good CGI before. They're
Yeah,
kinda known for bad CGI,
yeah, they are
but
the deer.
let's never forget the deer. Um, but yeah, the water was just really
Yeah,
distracting, and
it was especially the scene with Daryl and Julian talking. I was really distracted in that scene. I think it looked the least believable then. Um,
yeah.
I know they can't put them on the ocean, but I watched Our Flag Means Death, which is entirely set on the water and did not have a good budget, and they managed to make it more convincing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is a
Yeah.
shame.
I mean, they, like, Dexter films on the open water. Like,
Mm,
I mean, when he's in a boat, he's really on the water.
yeah, I
Um,
I do. I will defend them a bit in that I know from what they said on the I can't remember what the interview was, who it was with, but one of the interviews they did at San Diego Comic Con was that Melissa hurt her ankle during filming the boat
oh,
stuff. So I know there was some reshoots, so it's possible that was but it was I could tell when I was watching Carol's fight with Julian, I could tell where the bits were that were reshot. And
oh
like
wow, okay.
Daryl and Carol at night on the boat, Melissa's hair was much shorter there, so I was like, oh, I think that was a reshot. So I don't
Okay.
know if that's the explanation, but I agree the CGI was just not very well done. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what is your number 2?
Okay, this in a sense I feel bad because this is not strictly speaking the show's fault. It's the promotional fault. The first teaser we got for this way back when season 2 ended had that scene of Carol with her shoulder out and she says, "You and me both." And several, there was lots of different teasers, and the way that scene, the lines we heard Daryl saying, "I found a fight I didn't know I had," and we find him saying, "Let's not keep giving up," and there was another line he said, I can't remember what it is, and it made it seem like they were talking about each other, like, "Hey, you nearly died in that storm," and but or we both nearly died, and I can't believe it, but we rallied, and I found the strength to then find out that Daryl is talking about Isabel, who universally everybody hates. Okay, maybe not everybody, but most people. And the relationship was not good, and nobody enjoyed it. For that scene to actually be him talking about Isabel being the reason he kept going was like a stab to the heart. Like,
Yeah.
really, you couldn't have just had it be, but not you are the reason I'm here, but just the two of them saying we nearly died there and we're so lucky we're alive, and but and also I was hoping it was going to make up for, as I said, Daryl treating Carol like poop when she turned up last season. I wanted that scene to be Daryl saying, I'm so glad you're here, and even though we nearly died, I'm glad we were together, kind of thing. And then it was like, no, it's about Isabel now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I hear ya. Um, so my number 2
Yep.
is I'm on my number 2, right? You just
Yes,
did number
you
2.
are. Yes.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Yeah. You are number 2.
Okay, good. Um, my number 2 is escaping them so easily escaping the death ward.
Yeah, I did have that on my list, but I bumped it in the end. But yeah.
I I mean, I was really having to suspend my disbelief there. I, like
Yeah.
I
We opened the
I don't
doors
know.
and they patiently just waited.
Yes. I mean, they both probably should have died, but Daryl should have gotten bit like 6 times at least.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my
Plus,
gosh.
his head was resting against Carol's butt, which I
Yes,
just found hilarious.
I noticed that. Carol's
Yes,
butt saved him.
yes.
Um,
It was like he was lowered down, so I was like, how is he going to get up? But he just suddenly went, oh no, I'm in. We're both in.
yeah.
Close the door. Yeah,
My God.
that was a bit.
All right. What is your number 1?
Okay, okay. This is a big issue for me. Julian being the last man alive in England. I'm so angry about this because that is such an American thing to write. Right, let's just talk about that. Now he said England, so I'm assuming everybody in Scotland's fine. We built Hadrian's Wall a bit higher and left them to it. But even in defence of my English neighbours, um, England is a country with a huge network of canals.
Mhm.
It has thousands of castles which have built for have survived hundreds upon hundreds of years, most of which have high walls, moats, that kind of thing. And when he gave his very moving speech about, we closed off the Channel Tunnel to keep them out, but then nobody could leave. And he talks about him and his friends trying to leave and they failed. This is a country with, I looked it up, 1,500 beaches. You're telling me that they sealed off every single inch of coastline of this island that we live on? Just the most ridiculous concept. I can understand what they were trying to say about, once you get scarcer resources, people start turning on people. That makes sense. But the idea that people couldn't go out to boats on the many, 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 there's, debated how many islands there are around the British Isles, because it depends of what you count as an island. Is it 2 foot
Yeah.
square? Is that an island? But there are hundreds of islands around the UK that people could go to and survive because they're the only ones on that island. Oh, it just felt so American, and it related. This is cheating because this is a second one, but when they crossed Westminster Bridge and the view from Westminster Bridge, I was like, oh, St Paul's Cathedral's moved in the apocalypse. they basically took several things that that are in the London skyline and just put them all together so we can see them. I was like, how
Yeah.
hard is it to get a drone shot? Yeah, look there. Oh, there's St Paul's Cathedral. Lovely. Like, just get a drone shot of what that view is and use that. So it was very much the Scooby Doo version of London, and I'm Like, and has Julian walked the length of England and found no one? Come on
Right?
now. Yeah,
It's
that's
so
okay.
funny you said that because I that was seriously my number 1.
Yes.
But I'm gonna since you made that your number 1,
Mm,
I'm gonna change mine
okay.
because I have really nothing more to add to that. Um, okay, so Walker Julian.
Yeah.
Do you remember when The Walking Dead kinda established that, like, when you just die, when like, you look, like, just dead, just recently died walkers look very fresh, like, almost human-like,
Yes.
just like real people, and Julian looks like he's been a walker for a really long time.
Maybe the water accelerates it.
I don't know. I mean, he's
Oh
looking
dear.
rough.
He is looking rough.
I'm just like, "What why what" man,
Did
the
you know?
liberties they take on the show.
Did you notice he was wearing duct tape around his ankles? I was like, because I thought his trousers shrunk since he died. But he was duct tape around his ankles, and I'm like, why aren't they doing that all the time?
Oh,
But he,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was a bad one. I agree with that definitely.
Um, so let's go to, our top 5s. What's your
Yeah,
number 5?
we've already mentioned it. It's Carol saying "fuck" repeatedly. Hooray!
Your
I
shit.
love it.
Screen grab, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, worth seeing twice. I mean, I think I can't say this for certain. I don't know the woman, but I get the sense that Melissa has a potty mouth, and I am so glad that after last season, where she only got to say shit, that she gets the F bomb too. I'm like, yes, female equality. Let Carol swear like a sailor, because she's a sailor. Who doesn't know where the stern is. Uh, but I just loved it. I loved that she got to say that. And when she was getting her surgery done on her, and she's shitting and damning, and I was like, yes. Supposedly, scientifically, apparently, swearing does actually help relieve pain. So well done,
I've
Carol.
heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I, yeah, I that must be why I have such a high pain tolerance. Um,
Okay.
so my number 5, I don't know what happened to the photo because I did have one in here and
Mm.
it seems to have disappeared on me. But the tree walker,
Oh yes, yeah,
that was super cool.
that was yes, yeah.
We saw it if I remember correctly, I think I had a hard time getting a good picture of it anyway,
Yeah,
but it was like this tree just grew up through this walker's body,
yeah. So it
and
was
it was
kind of
super cool.
like yeah. Um, and I think that's something I've always talked about is how walkers would become part of the landscape. If there's no reason for them to move, they're just going to stay there, and all this stuff will grow on them and through them. And I love that visual of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It that also makes me think, like, with Julian's did Julian say, like, how long it had been since he'd seen anyone?
No, I think he just said years. I think that
Okay.
was all he said. Yeah.
You would think the walkers would have all died by now.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't
'Cause
know. In this season, which we'll get to in later episodes, but you can see it in the trailers. They're playing fast and loose with what kills the walker this season. So um, it's just, they clearly don't die out very quickly either. Like their hearing is still fine when he sets off Big Ben, and they're all still tramping about. Like surely they would just go into a pile of bones if they've been
yeah,
there 10 years. I don't know
yeah,
about human decomposition. I don't know. Yeah, because we have
yeah.
seen ones that were kind of like the sort of 28 days later skeletal ones, haven't we? But
Mhm.
yeah.
And I mean, um, it wasn't just Milton in season 3
No.
that made the comment that they eventually starve
Yeah, yeah.
and just die. It wasn't
So
just
they would
him.
have, yeah. Or what they doing? Eating, living on rats? Maybe it's London. There's a lot of rats. Um,
Yeah. What
maybe
would be
that's it.
really cool is if the walkers, like, got bigger and more powerful the more people that they kill.
Yes. Like
That'd be
on
kind
a,
of
like yeah, like on a video game. Like they just you grow and grow. Yeah, that would be good.
yeah,
Quick,
that'd be kind of
quick,
fun.
copyright that.
What was your number 4?
Okay, and this we've also talked about this is the coordinated drink throwing on the sofa. I love that whole scene. It is perfect. Carol and Daryl togetherness in that they know what each other is thinking, they trust each other completely, they are on the same wavelength, they work together like a well-oiled machine. That's the Daryl and Carol I like to see. You know, like with them in the street as well, they just become, when there's danger, they become a perfect unit of one. And I love that. And I just love the coziness of it as well. Carol sitting with her leg folded under her and Daryl looking at her like, okay, I'm just going for this. Okay. Yep, trust you. You just carry on there.
Yeah.
It's the kind of scene I always wanted to see in the spin-off was Daryl and Carol against the world kind of thing,
Mhm.
and them working together like it was on a show where they're detectives, you know, and they have to go undercover and they're um making up stories about their backstory or whatever and just going with it. That's the kind of stuff I love to see. So it was really nice to have that finally appear in the spin-off.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it. Um, this is number 4, right?
Yeah, there's number four. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm losing my place here. Carol just being so excited about her hot dogs that she found.
Now you can tell me, does that look like the kind of tins of hot dogs you would see in the US?
No.
No, it looks very, very like a well-known brand that you get in the UK, which is called Ye Olde Oak.
Okay.
And that's they've obviously sort of copied it, but not completely. So I was like, oh, that's totally a UK brand of hot dog.
Gotcha. Yeah, I honestly don't know if you can even find hot dogs in a can in the US.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much I've never seen them like that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it's they're pretty much always just in a package in the refrigerator section.
Yeah. We in the UK they're normally in a jar or in a tin. I mean, you can get them fresh, but most of the time, yeah, jar or a tin. So I have a jar in my home right now. I should have brought them actually. Should have
Yeah.
used that as a prop. Never thought.
So, yeah, it was just
Yeah,
it was cute. It was cute. She
it
was
was
really
cute.
excited about her hot
Yeah,
dogs.
I mean, and the fact she's willing to chance, I don't know what ptomaine poisoning. I don't know what you get if you're eating hot dogs that are 12 years out of date.
Okay, you know what? Something else that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Um, I when Daryl found the candy,
Mhm.
like, so much stuff, it reminded me of recently, I was cleaning off my desk, and I found one of those little I found, like, this little mini Baby Ruth,
Oh yeah.
and it's, like, my favorite candy, and I didn't think we had them around for a while, um, and so but I didn't think anything of it, and I was like, "Oh, cool, I thought we were rid of these." So I popped it in my mouth, and it was like putting a piece of clay in my mouth. It was so I spit it right out. I don't know how old this thing was or how it just got like it because it was sitting under a hat.
Oh
That's why
right.
it was
Yeah.
that's why it was sitting there for so long, and I just let this hat sitting on my desk that I hadn't moved in way too long because I was really sick for a while, and I just let it sit there, and I just never moved the hat, and I found it under my hat. No clue how old it was, but it wasn't I
No.
mean, it wasn't much older than a year, if
Yeah.
that, and it was disgusting. It was
And those kind of
really
boiled sweets that he was taking out. I know that if you keep them, because I'm forever putting them in a tin and forgetting about them. and they just turn really, really sticky. It's just like a sticky lump. So I would have been expecting them to be like, ugh. But no, he's like,
Yeah, seriously. I thought he was eating paper at first. I was
yeah,
like,
that's desperation.
yeah, seriously. I was really worrying about them. I was like, "Oh boy."
Yeah, it's
Okay,
more
now we're
more
on
the
number 3, right?
yes. Now we're on number 3. Yes.
Okay.
So mine is a kind of a two-parter in that it's generally Carol's excitement and happiness. Oh, it's such a long time coming. And the scene where Julian says, we're going to reach land in 1170 days, seeing Carol laugh. And Daryl broke into a little bit of a laugh, but Carol genuinely laughed. And that scene on the boat at night with Daryl, it was so, to be a Carol fan and you've watched her suffer for 15 years and to
Yeah.
see her say, I'm excited for the future, is, if they don't give us anything else that we like, we've got that. They've got Carol to a point where she's happy and she's excited about the future. And it's such a relief from the misery upon misery upon misery. Poor Melissa filming tearful scene after tearful scene, and now she's getting to swear and laugh. So I love that for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Um, so my number 3 was, yeah, just basically Daryl, just like you said earlier, just taking
Hmm.
really good care of Carol and being nice to her after seeing him be such an asshole to her in season 2, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a refreshing change.
Yeah.
So I
No.
I I really liked that a lot. It was, like, this is the even before I ever shipped them together, they were
Hmm.
always my favorite part of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like, the 2 of them together. I didn't care
Exactly.
how they were together, I just
Yes.
wanted them together. And then we got nothing but the worst version of them together for several years,
Yes.
and it was not fun to watch. And
No.
this is like we're finally seeing, like, what we haven't seen in a very long time, and
Yes. Yeah.
it's very refreshing, so I'm
Yes.
happy about that.
It was delightful to see for sure.
And, what is your number 2?
Number two is kind of an overall best thing, is that I loved how much this reminded me of Consumed. I, Consumed season 5, Daryl and Carol in Atlanta, and it's the two of them on a mission, and I loved that. That's what as a Carol and Daryl fan, as you say, no matter how I see them, I just love them interacting. I don't care if it's romantic or not. I mean, I care, but you know what I mean. I enjoy them. I enjoy them interacting no matter what their relationship is. And Consumed was like the ideal. And it was like when we heard about the spin-off happening, that was what I was envisaging. The two of them just working together, surviving, having these scenes, talking with each other, and just that this is finally happening after when we thought it was never going to happen, when Melissa pulled out and it completely changed. And then even when she was coming back, we still had this, didn't know where it was going as a show, and we still had the French cast and Laurent, who I couldn't imagine how they would get rid of Laurent. So I thought wherever they go, he's going to go. And not that I disliked him, but I just wanted that dynamic. So to have this episode capture that so well was like a dream come true. And like I say, if I got nothing else, we got this episode, and this is everything I wanted. I realize this should probably be number one for this one. Everything I wanted from this spin-off is in this episode, and I just love that it is so patched into what Carol and Daryl fans want. Obviously, there are separate Daryl fans, there are separate Carol fans, but people who are a fan of Carol with a Y, I think this is what we want to see.
Yeah. So
You're number two.
my number 2 is I laughed out loud when I saw it. I cracked. It was so satisfying because of how much we made fun of it. When I wrote down the words. So first Carol says, they're talking about like Padrone, and he thought he saw his brother and he went crazy, and Carol says, Daryl says something like, I guess that's what batshit does to you, and she says that's what that's I guess that's why they call it batshit crazy. And right after she says that, Daryl says, I was pretty young when all this started. And Carol just immediately stops walking and just looks at him. Like, motherfucker, what'd you say?
And I'm delighted that it made a bit more sense in context that he is talking about his youth. But boy, it didn't seem like it.
Yeah. And, and she wasn't, I wasn't really exactly clear on why she had that reaction. I don't think she was having the same reaction we did to it when we first saw it when we first heard it in the teaser. But it was funny because it just kind of like it played into our reaction too.
Yes. It's like, let's set up our bingo card for how often we hear running and fighting in this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene was that was, I mean, it was leaked in the by AMC. They released the first 3 minutes and we got to see it and everybody was like, okay.
Yeah. Oh man. So what's your number one?
My number one is, and perhaps this is surprising, given I said, is the comedy. Oh, comedy, wit, sharp jabs, hurrah! This show's main problem for many years was it was so miserable and so earnest and full of these blah 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 weird lines that mean nothing. Here we had people having A, realistic conversations, and B, realistic comebacks. Funny thing, as you mentioned most of them, Carol saying, that's not how you spell Mexico. Daryl getting funny lines saying, yeah, that's your worst nightmare. It was, that's like, it reminds me of the best kind of TV shows that I loved, like Moonlighting and things like that, where we have that repartee. And Melissa McBride is so good at it. She just, her dry wit, perfect. And Norman Reedus, who knew, funny. he's good at it too. The two of them together have such a good back and forth, and I've always loved their banter. But I just feel like in this episode, it was stepped up a level, and it was sharp and good writing. Which, take a note of me saying that. I may never say it again. No, I will. But it's. I wouldn't have said in seasons 1 and 2 that would be something they did well, because it was so much religion and nationalism and all this stuff. I would never have thought that first episode of season 3 would be really funny. I mean, Stephen Merchant, you're going to get something good, but yeah, let's have more of Daryl being funny. I love it.
Yeah, I like it too. We haven't seen that in a good while.
No.
I can't even really like name some of my funniest moments from The Walking Dead. I can't think of them.
It was really funny in season 1 when they had the whole thing with the dogs. They had the gang that were going to set the dogs on them, and they were little chihuahuas. And we had Daryl saying, "Am I the only one zen here?" And they did a lot more sort of physical humor, but I love that they've made dialogue funny, and long may that continue.
I like that too. We need more of that. I mean, like, some of the other shows that we cover, they're darker than The Walking Dead, and they constantly have funny moments.
Yeah,
like Dexter has a ton of funny moments. Like it seems like there's at least one moment every episode where I'm just rolling. My sides hurt from laughing so much.
I
Yellow
mean,
Jackets has a lot of comedy.
oh, I was just going to say, Yellow Jackets is really funny.
Yeah. Even From.
Yeah, yeah.
From doesn't have as much humor, but they
No.
definitely have it, it has its moments.
Yeah. I think
Usually.
we really like dark humor, and I think it's human nature. But the darker things are, the more you start cracking jokes because you've got to.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Welcome back,
Um,
funny Walking Dead.
yes. I'm gonna have to think about that now because I know there
Yeah,
were
me too. I can't think either.
actually the first thing that comes to mind when I think about humorous moments in The Walking Dead, honestly, the time that I can think of that I laughed the hardest is the season with the Whisperers
Oh
when
yeah.
Negan comes back to camp after after Beta like put him through all his hazing, and he comes back to camp with, and he's like, I hope you have my skin suit, my giant skin suit ready for my giant balls or something. I can't
Yes.
remember exactly what he said, but it was really funny.
Yes.
It was
I
great delivery.
I just remembered there's the stuff with Morgan and Michonne about the protein bar. That was
Yeah.
really funny. Where he's like, yeah, you two, and Michonne had quite a few funny ones as well. I seem to recall, and Clear and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Eugene had a lot of funny
yes. Oh
moments.
yeah, he did. And
Even
then
there, it's just like there just wasn't a ton of it.
no, no, it just wait. Yeah, it would have been nice to see more. And I think yeah, hopefully, this is something they'll stick with.
Carol gave us a lot of laughs when they first got to Alexandria.
Yes, she did. Yes. And that Daryl did too. Give him credit. You look ridiculous.
Yeah.
Give me that vest, or I'm gonna hold you down.
Oh man. Yeah, it's there. I gotta start thinking about it and like make a maybe we should like do a video on all the funny moments for
Yeah, you need to
each of
do
the shows
that.
we can. Anyway, my number one, yeah, you just that was your number one. Okay.
Yeah, that was
So
my number
sorry
one.
I'm losing track here. What the hell is going on with me?
Just had a busy week.
My number one was just we talked about it a little already, but just Carol actually saying, like you said, talking about how she's excited for the future and she feels like something's lifted and she feels like she's at peace. And it's it's been frustrating because when they announced the spinoff, that's kind of what we were promised of
Yeah.
Daryl and Carol was
Hmm.
kind of that feeling from both of them.
Yeah, lightness. They talked about a lightness and a sense of hope, and yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't really gotten that. Um, but I mean, if but this episode it felt not as much on Daryl's end of things, but the relationship between the two of them, and of course, just Carol herself, just saying that she felt so much
Hmm.
lighter and more peaceful. It just
Yeah.
that was so fucking refreshing and
Yeah.
satisfying,
Yes.
and because I can't take any more of Carol just being emotionally tortured.
No. No.
So yeah, by far easily my number one.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm scared to see where it goes from here. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm like, there's all this talk about it. There's the overarching Western theme, and
Hmm.
I hate Westerns. I really hate Westerns.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. It might be a tough season for me, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I'll keep
Yeah.
an open mind.
I have to say about this episode that I think it is my favorite Daryl and Carol episode ever.
Wow.
I in terms of the Walking Dead episodes, like I absolutely adored the Grove and Same Boat. So I'm not talking about an overall episode, but in terms of Daryl and Carol, this is my favorite. I could
Yeah.
watch this again and again and again, just because there's so much joy, and there's some comforting moments, and there's touching moments, and there's action and jeopardy, and cozy Daryl and Carol staying in a London flat. I love that.
Yeah.
So well done to them for hitting it out of the park.
Yeah. Yeah. I agreed. I agree.
Mhm.
I I really don't. I haven't thought about that. I don't know if it's my favorite, but
Mm,
it's sure up there. I don't know what my favorite would be, honestly.
no, no.
Um, but yeah, it would definitely be up there regardless.
It's
So
it's definitely my favorite of the spin-off. Definitely of that. Yeah, one season one, two, three. This is my favorite episode thus
yeah,
far.
but we know that they're going to be separated quite a bit this
Yes,
season,
we do. We do.
which
So everybody brace yourself.
that's not why I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in to see Carol and Daryl together,
Yes.
like in the same proximity of each other, being able to see both of them on the screen at the same time. Like,
Interacting with each other.
yeah.
Let's just mention the promotional poster, um, which changed dramatically, and they're pretending the first one didn't exist. at,
Yeah.
at San Diego Comic Con, the promotional poster was Daryl Moore in the foreground, stabbing up one of these masked guys. Carol a bit further in the background, doing the same,
Yeah.
hitting someone. And I mean, it was attractive, very, beautiful looking, caused absolutely no stir. Then a few weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, they released this poster, which is Carol and Daryl. There we go, on the bike, Carol shooting, and the reaction was ginormous. It
Yeah.
got so many likes, so much retweets, so many comments. Everybody loved this, and this became the official promo art, key art for the season. And I mean, I can see why. And also, what does that tell you, AMC? That's that's what the audience loves. They love that. So please give us more of that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. It's kind of shocking when you think that when you realize that we have not enjoyed seeing Daryl and Carol together since season 10.
They didn't spend a lot of time together on screen in season 11, and then we didn't get Carol and Daryl together till episode 4 last season, and then for some reason, best known to the writers, Daryl treated her like crap. And so it's nice to see them being nice to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm I'm already like kind of, thinking about season 4 and where that's going to go.
Yeah, me
Um
too.
but when is New York Comic Con?
New York Comic Con, I think, oh gosh, now you're testing me. I think it's around the 11th of October. I could be wrong, but it might be the 16th, sometime
Okay.
in October. So about a month away. I think I worked out that it was, I think there's one episode or two episodes left to go when it airs. So yeah,
Okay.
a month. Well, let's see, a month.
Okay. Gotcha. So it'll happen. And when is the can thing?
That's like a few days after it. So yeah,
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah,
So they should both happen while we're still in
yes.
season with the
While
show.
we're
So we'll be
still
able to
on, yeah,
yeah,
on in season, we'll be
gotcha.
able to react to them as they happen. Well, not literally,
Awesome.
but yes. We're not going to be They're not going to have me standing in France going, "This is the live reporting."
Um,
Yeah.
now, before we go, one thing that I really wanted to start doing is just kind of calling out, picking a few random people to give a shout out to that work behind the scenes or even like, who play some of the extras, whichever. Just there's so much work that goes into these TV shows and everyone is so important and it's just kind of nice to care to call out the folks that don't ever get called out.
Yeah. And we're sitting here and we do rip into stuff a lot, but we are never ripping into the hard work of these people. The
Yeah.
only thing we're ever mocking, generally speaking, is the writers or the hires up. We know how much hard work these ordinary people go into their crafts, and they are craft. Um, you know, so we really appreciate them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So for this episode, I am shouting out Roxanne Alem. She's the stunt department coordinator.
Aha.
And she has also worked on FBI International, Awareness, Cleo, and Black Mirror, which most people are quite familiar
Oh
with.
yes, yeah.
She did not work in stunts on Black Mirror, but she did work on Black Mirror. And the next person I want to shout out is Tommaso Fiorelli. Now, as the season goes by, when we get the behind the scenes stuff, and I'm sure that his name will come up, and people will probably start seeing his name associated with the show. But he's not somebody that any of us are necessarily
Mhm.
super familiar with. So as of right now, but he has also worked on The Insult, Go Home, The Deep End, and Cour Noir, as well as many other things. But those are just some of his credits.
And
And
I was just going to say the stunt department is so important in Daryl Dixon. And when the Emmy nominations, the pre-Emmy nomination talk was happening, there was prediction that Daryl Dixon would be nominated for stunt. It was the only category it had any chance of getting close to. In the end, it wasn't, but it shows the level of quality that stunts go on in these shows.
other person that I'm gonna give a shout out today to is Josh Ekberg, who is with the sound department. He's the re-recording mixer. So no one's gonna know who he is, and he's the perfect person to shout out for that reason.
Yeah, it's one of those jobs where you shouldn't notice his work, which is quite something,
Yeah, but it's super important.
Yeah, so important.
And he has worked on he's done sound on Fargo and Bob's Burgers and many other things. But those are two of his big credits. In addition to, he also worked on The Ones Who Live too.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
One of the things that about this episode was, although I was making fun of the shots of London, when Daryl and Carol were walking over the bridge at the start, they went to England and took some plate background shots to make that of a real British village, a real English village, and used it, mixed it with real shots of Norman and Melissa walking over a bridge in Spain, and mixed the two together. And I think that was done masterfully. That was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that too. But yeah, Roxanne and Tommaso and Josh, thank you so much for all of your hard work on the shows that we watch and love. And we're however much we may complain about the show sometimes, we always appreciate the hard work of everyone behind the
Yes,
scenes.
we do. Yeah.
And on screen too. I mean,
Mhm.
they put a lot into it. So, but Dawn, why don't you tell everyone where they can also catch you in addition to Cyber Queen?
You can catch me on the Costa TV podcast every week, roughly every week, where I am reviewing the four shows of the week, four new shows that are debuting this week in the UK. And you can also catch me on Made for TV, which is myself and Sarah Kennedy, where we talk about women and underrepresented groups in television. We talk a lot about the issues of television, behind the scenes stuff, things like LGBTQ representation and class, and a lot of this sort of issues. And that's Made for TV, spelled MAID. And that's, you can catch me there. And I also write a lot of reviews for custardtv.com. You will find me reviewing weekly the new season of Slow Horses. I'll be doing that for the first time this season. So if you love Slow Horses, check out my reviews.
Very cool. And you can catch me on Cyber Queen at both the YouTube channel and the podcast, as well as the Antler Queens podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. The Antler Queens, we cover Yellow Jackets and Dexter. We are still wrapping up Dexter Resurrection, which, by the way, if you are somebody who just watched all of Dexter in the past but haven't watched the spinoffs, do yourself a favor, because this has honestly been the best season of Dexter I've ever watched. And the first 4 seasons of the original series were fantastic. And this actually smokes them all. I mean, it's just, I can't say enough good things about it. It's like Michael C. Hall and Clyde Phillips are basically carrying Showtime on their backs right now, and Peter Dinklage, because he's just been, oh my god, one of the creepiest most maniacal villains I've ever seen. He's just been so good. And Uma Thurman, who I'm obsessed with her character. She's been fantastic too. But check it out if you have not ever watched Dexter and you're considering checking it out. I wish you the best of luck. First 4 seasons, you will not want to watch stuff. You will not want to quit watching. You will be glued to your seat. You will be wanting to deprive yourself of sleeping and eating, and then it kind of goes downhill after that. The series finale is widely considered one of the worst episodes of TV ever. So if you could stick it out for those 4 seasons, and then watch New Blood. New Blood is okay. I liked the finale better than the rest of the season. It was fine though. I mean, it was enjoyable. It wasn't great in my opinion, but I thought it was good. But Resurrection, just oh my god, it's so incredible. So it's a tough season it's a tough show for anybody to pick up at this point because you'd have to get through those four kind of meh to really awful seasons. But it's oh my god, the payoff in watching Resurrection is so good though. It's so good. Just one of the greatest things I've had the pleasure of watching. And that is on the Antler Queens since they were both Showtime shows. And we also Dawn is also an Antler Queens host. She's not covering Dexter with us, but she does cover Yellow Jackets. And I need to start thinking about once Alien Earth is over, which we have a day after show with Jazz and Steve every Wednesday night. Once that's over, then I need to think about getting a Yellow Jackets related episode up because Yellow Jackets has been kind of ignored. But we also cover From and Severance, and we're going to cover Buffy soon. So we got lots of stuff happening. Welcome to Derry just got its premiere date. That will be the premiere is October 26th, I believe. Just came out today, so I'm pretty excited about that. Follow us on social media. We are at Cyborg Queen Media everywhere except for X, where we are Cyborg Queen TV. And make sure you subscribe. I just checked our percentage. I think like about 75% of our views come from people who are regular viewers but are not subscribed. And I constantly find myself finding out that I'm not subscribed to somebody that I was subscribed to or that I thought I was subscribed to.
Yeah, I found that as well.
And sometimes YouTube just unsubscribes people from stuff too. It's really bizarre. I don't understand it. But leave us a comment. We love engagement. It really helps us in the algorithm. And Dawn, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we get on?
I'm good. Thank you very much. I think that was covered everything.
All right. Well, we are going to try our best to get these out right after the episodes air. Hopefully that won't be for this first week. It'll be tough because we've got the Dexter Resurrection season finale. But after that, then we won't really have any conflicts. So we should be able to get them up right away after the episode. So fingers crossed. All right, guys, we are out for this week. And we will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.